cultural forum, we can say there were three cultural programs held in this year or part, uh, even in the COVID situation. So, as we know, we have collaborated today with the Space Club. Let me introduce or give a brief info about Space Club. Starting from the vision that Space Club has, it has a vision to create a fearless thinking, designing idea, building ideas in field of space research. Just like space, as people don't have boundaries of thinking, which leads us towards the great ideas. Here we work honestly and morally to bring those ideas into the motion. Also, we need to spread the optimism in the community where we serve and expand the community day by day. Space Club has been started from 2016 under the guidance of Professor MVP Sir. Firstly, it is a part of SEED where three different clubs, E-Cells, Space Club and Media Cells have come together for the platform given to the students in terms of technical entrepreneurship and leadership skill. Talking about some major things that Space Club do, it has research and development in cheaper and better ways of satellite and rocket development. It also have collaborated and worked with various institutes on different projects. Working in different subsystems, we need to also pass on the knowledge to the next generation, next batch for the continuation of the club and sustainability. Creating a culture of research and development in the rocket and satellite is one of the major goals at Space Club. Speaking about some of the greatest achievements of Space Club, on the left hand you can see the EPLV rocket that was recently launched for 1 kilometer. On the right hand side you can see the balloon sat that was launched and a picture of the edge of the earth that was taken and the data was successfully recovered and deployed by LoRa transmission method. So talking about it was successful completion of balloon sat with full recovery and successful payload work in collaboration with ISA Gopal. Balloon satellite and cloud seeding projects are now in pipeline. As for cloud seeding, we need a rocket that can reach up to a height of 3 kilometers, and the work are in absolute progress. The MOU has been signed between with the ISA Bhopal and IGM, that is Indian Institute of Geomagnetism. Also, we are the winner of the national level rocket competition at SDNX. Rocket at an height of 1000 meters with a successful deployment has been done. Also, 10 licensed radio operators, 2 general grade and 8 restricted grade have been done. As we know, for recovering or getting the data from a highest height, we need to operate on a certain frequency for which we need a licensed radio operators. Now, that's from the Space Club side. Talking about the speaker that we have today, Mr. Adarsh Kumar, he is our 2019 alumni and he is going to speak on one of the interesting and important topic around the world, that is basics of IoT solution and development. He has MS in management in entrepreneurial leadership at Babson College, technical entrepreneur, IoT expert and software engineer. What's a better way to introduce yourself than others? So I would like to ask Adarsh Kumar to take the stage and introduce himself and carry on with his presentation.
Thank you so much, Neeraj, for the beautiful introduction about Raha and about the Space Club. I would be lying if I say that I'm not really impressed by the kind of work you guys are doing at Space Club. When I was back in 2019, when I was in college, Space Club was already launching satellites. They were collecting the data about various layers in the atmosphere. So, like, it was pretty impressive stuff you guys were doing. So, and I would like to thank you all for coming here to listen to me. I see like more than 55 students are there with us, listening to us. So today I have my colleague Vivek with me. So he would be monitoring the chats. So in case you guys have any questions or any concerns you want to ask about, you can just post it in the chat, and Vivek will be conveying it to me, right? So yeah, let's move forward. Uh, these are a few of the topics which we will be covering today. So first is the company profile. I will be telling about my company, then about myself. We'll be talking about IoT architecture and the market scope. We'll be learning about problem analysis, how to do a problem analysis. Like for example, in Space Club, when you start working on a project, you will be starting with a specific problem, right? So we will be talking about how you can analyze that problem and how we can convert that problem into a specific statement, which can be release or which can be conveyed to other people effectively. And then we will be talking about how to design a solution, and then there's going to be a small activity that we will be conducting. Right. So telling about the company profile, basically Texami stands for Technology for Small and Medium-Sized Industries. Right. So our day-to-day operation, it consists of developing industrial and commercial IoT solutions. So we are in touch with a lot of industrial industries, basically manufacturing units, you can say, to be specific. For them, we develop IoT solutions like energy management solution and all. Right. So basically, our operations have two major things. First of all, is IoT manufacturing. So we, as I told you, we manufacture IoT equipments. We have our own energy management system. We develop IoT devices. We are into RFID big time. Then we do dashboard development and all. Recently, we have started a new initiative called College Collaboration, under which we are conducting this session. So what we want is we want to create more entrepreneurs like us, right? So that we can help the Indian economy. And IoT being an emerging field, we felt like there couldn't be any better technology right now to have your business in, right? So we started conducting workshops. We used to have student chapters in various colleges. We set up IoT labs for colleges. We do faculty training, student training. We also provide internship to the students where they can, learn and polish their IoT skills. So it's completely a student centric approach we are taking. Talking about myself, so from 2015 to 2019, I was in the same shoes as you guys are in right now. I was studying in computer science department at RIT, and these are few of the responsibilities that I held when I was in RIT. So I was the founder of Abstract Arts Club. Our batch was the first one to receive the Netra funding for projects. So I was leading one of those projects. I represented Shivaji University in national music level competitions, and I started my freelance journey in third year. And because I was doing pretty good, so I decided to convert it into a company in my final year. So I will say like that's when my entrepreneurial journey started in 2019. So I named the company as Mo. If you guys want to take a look, you can take a look at themo.com. That's our website. Then I co-founded Scanopay in 2019. Scanopay was basically a system, an automated billing system for restaurants. We started it when the COVID hit. So it was one of the very, interesting opportunities at that time. So, and I got a job offer from Microsoft in 2019, which I didn't took because I wanted to work on my own venture at that time. In 2020, I scored 720 in my GMAT, got an offer from a lot of good colleges in Boston and New York. But I decided to go to Babson College because I wanted to study entrepreneurship. And Babson College is number one college for entrepreneurship for 25 consecutive years, right? Uh, Also in 2020, I co-founded and I was working as a CTO in one of the startups from Singapore. Its name is Powered by Plants, which is basically a vegan e-commerce website, you can say. Also, I would want to mention that this company, Powered by Plants, it got $1 million funding in 2021. But at that time, I was not really the part of the organization because I had to, focus on my college. But yeah, for sure, I had a huge contribution into that because I redesigned their website as the CTO. So yeah, my journey in Babson College, I was the cohort representative. So a few of you guys would be, having the leadership roles in various clubs or colleges. You guys know how difficult it is to handle strong-headed people, how difficult it is to lead strong-headed people. And I was in the best college in the world for leadership, and I was leading the class of all the leaders. All the people who are around the globe right now and having their own businesses and ventures in different fields. So yeah, it was a challenging role. I was always active with TEDx, so I was the committee head for TEDx sponsorship at Babson. Then I received a grant for my LEAP project. Then I co-founded another venture while being at Babson, which is Boulder, which is basically a self-improvement app. Then I also worked as a sales strategy consultant for CF Technologies, which is a multi-million company in Boston. They basically make the chemical vessels. So the people who are from mechanical background, you guys would be knowing, how high pressure vessels are. So they make that, and they needed a strategy to increase their sales because they were like scaling up. So that was all about me. Let's jump into the topic. So first, we are going to talk about IoT, and then we're going to talk about how we design solutions, right? So talking about IoT, let's start with the architecture first. So basically, in IoT, there are four different layers, right? Any IoT solution will be having four different layers. So the first layer basically is your physical layer, where you have a microcontroller. Yeah, where you have a, I'm sorry. we have a mic. Yeah, we have a microcontroller, and we connect it with a sensor, right? A lot of you would have like already done this thing, connecting a microcontroller with a sensor, right? It's the most basic step of IoT, right? So connecting these, there are some protocols which are included in that, which is I2C, then SPI, UART, right? So collectively, this specific thing is called a node, right? Now our IoT solution, industrial IoT solution, right? If you do this thing, you are good at your college level. Your professor will be very happy that you have connected a microcontroller with a sensor. You are sending and receiving data. But do you think it's going to work in industry? No, because in industry we have different nodes now, right? At a single site, we have a lot of nodes, and these nodes are connected with a gateway. Now I heard Neeraj talking about LoRa, right? So LoRa is one of the protocols for these gateways, right? It collects the data and it sends it to a specific server, or specific location where we want to store the data or process it. So from that we send the data to our backend, which we also called cloud, right? So now there are again various protocols included in here. So connecting the nodes to the gateway, there is a protocol called Modbus, which is the industrial standard right now, which is used by most of the industry right now. And then connecting the gateway to the cloud, we use MQTT protocol. Now I know it's we are like right now talking about very vaguely about IoT. It's basically only the architecture of IoT, but it wouldn't be possible right now to talk about all the aspects of IoT in a very short time. So we'll be talking about it. We are planning a workshop for you guys, a 2-day workshop. So we would be talking about in details about all of that. So yeah, let's move forward right now. Now you guys know a little about IoT, but we need to understand that why exactly do we need to study IoT as an entrepreneur? Because although we are talking about IoT, we are looking towards the thing as entrepreneurs or as leaders, right? So what I want you to do is, I want any one of you to tell me how much is this number? How much amount is it? You can also use the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and you can speak it out. Okay. So yeah, it is $1.6 trillion, right? Exactly. There's a $1.6 trillion. So what exactly is this amount? This is the amount, this is the expected growth of IoT by 2025, right? This is how much the global market, people around the globe are going to spend on IoT devices, right? By 2025. This is a prediction by Statistica. And this prediction, this number wasn't always there. If you see in 2017, the IoT market was only $110 billion, right? And if you see the growth, if you see from 2017 to 2018, the growth is barely like $40 billion or something like that. But from 2024 to 2025, it is $500 billion, right? So you see how exponentially the market is growing, how big of the opportunity it is, right? So what share of IoT market does India have? Because we are in India, if we start a venture, it's going to be from India, right? So we need to be concerned about, okay, we are not going to reach to the global market on the first day. We are going to start with a specific country. So we live in India. So talking about India, India is having 5% of the global IoT market. Now, if you listen to 5%, it sounds very less. We know it's just a small percentage, right? But thinking about 190 countries around the globe, the average for each country would be 0.5%. So we are doing 10 times better than the average, right? So, of course, also in India, if you see in 2015, the total market was around 29,000 CR, right? It was 29,000 crores. But in 2020, it was 1 lakh crores. So you see, even in India, it is growing faster than it is growing around the globe, because in the big countries like Singapore, US, UK, the market has already emerged. But for Indian market, it is still one of the emerging technologies. And if you see here, basically 60 to 65% of the IoT market in India is held by startups. It is held by people like you and me who have just started their company. even the big company, even the integrated firms like TCS, IBM, all these companies, maybe they're big and they're giants in this specific field, but they're still in their research and development phase. They're still acting as a small company only because a very small part of that company is working with IoT. So even though there are giants in the market, we still have a chance, we still stand a chance to create our own venture in IoT, and we can still compete with them because we are all on the same page. We are all in the research and development phase only, right? Now, a lot of misconception is there about IoT, that people think IoT is like Alexa and Google Home. These all are the devices which have the major share in the IoT market. But I would like to tell you that 95% of the IoT market is held by industrial IoT. It is held by the agriculture sector. It's held by the manufacturing sector. It's not the domestic IoT that is, creating revenues for these companies. So when we think about IoT, yeah, do you have a question? I guess someone raised the hand. Okay, anyways, yeah. So basically, I was telling that these companies, the industrial IoT, these are the people who are holding the most share. So when we think of a product, when we think of something, we don't have to only think about domestic IoT. It's not wrong to think about domestic IoT, but if you really want to come up with something unique and something that is really revenue generating, start thinking about industrial IoT, right? Okay, now here's a small activity, and yeah, I'm gonna cold call on people right now because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are just having their mic and cameras off, and like they're just chilling behind the laptop. So that's not gonna happen today. What I want you to do is I want you to take a look at this picture, and I want you to think about three things, right? First thing, you need to identify pain points. You need to come up with all the issues that you see in the picture. For example, the first issue I see is the unhygienic clothes, right? Second issue I see is there is garbage on the road. So you need to come up with a list of these issues, and then you need to select a specific problem that you want to tackle, right? And you need to write a problem statement out of that, and then you need to write a solution out of that. And we are gonna do it in 5 minutes. So it's 9:50, and at 9:55 I'm gonna call at least one or two of you to read your points, right? So let's get started. If you guys have any question or any doubt, you guys can ask in the chat or you can raise your hands. If anyone has any question, you guys feel free to ask. And also let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow anywhere, right? So you guys need to write 3 points. In the first point, you need to list out all the issues that you're able to see. In the second one, you need to write a specific problem, and in the third one, you need to give a solution to that. Now, it doesn't has to be super perfect or something like that. It's a quick activity, so just uh, write whatever you can, right? Just write it on a notepad or anything with you, and once we are done with the activity, I'm gonna ask any one of you to tell us, like just tell what you have written. I'm already seeing a lot of people coming with a lot of innovative solutions to that. Plastic replaced by TGP bioplastics. That's a good one. Wear a mask. Nice one. Garbage exposed. Yeah, that's a pain point. Okay, yeah, let's continue. Uh, Anyone want to voluntarily tell what they have written, what they have got? Neeraj, you want to share? I think Neeraj has got a lot of points.
Yes, definitely. As we can see, there is garbage is exposed to the air, and also the
Hmm.
people are not wearing mask and hand gloves,
Hmm.
which can eventually lead to their unhygienity or diseases. So
Right.
one of the major things that we can do is the waste management that is proper. It should be transferred into closed containers and much more.
Right. So basically, your problem statement is that they don't have proper safety gears, right? And your
Yes,
sol and your solution is that we need to provide proper safety gears to them. Am I
yes,
right?
yes,
Okay. And for the pain points you came up with, like they have dirty clothes, they have they're not wearing gloves, they're not wearing mask, right? Okay. Someone else, Siddharth, you want to share? Siddharth Kashid?
Might be the truck we see. We can use the rubbish cars, rubbish trucks, which have more proper way to segregate the wastage, and it will be also suitable if they wear gloves, masks, and everything, the kit and the knowledge provided to them to work there properly in a hygienic way.
Right, right. Anyone else you want to share? Okay, let me call then. Um, Deepak Jadhav, you want to share? Deepak, do you want to share? I see your comments in the chat. Okay, someone else, Sridhar, you want to share? Sridhar? Okay, no problem. So we have seen a few points. So what I want to tell is, mostly we intend to see the points which is very very much obvious, right? We see that there is an issue, which is that they're not having proper hygiene. But have you guys also thought of some details behind the picture? What do you think this area can be? It can be a roadside, right? So we see that they are picking up the trash from the road. So another issue what we can see is that people are throwing garbage on the road. So if people stop throwing garbage on the road and they throw it directly in the truck, these people wouldn't have to pick it up with their hands, right? So that's like a deeper scope in the picture, right? And another thing, another observation that I've made is that a lot of you tend to talk more about the solution than the problem, right? Like when Neeraj started telling, he started giving suggestions initially. He was like, these people can wear safety gears, right? So that's what the human nature is. We tend to care more about the solution than exactly the problem, right? Yeah, that's a really good point, Sridhar. Sridhar, do you want to unmute yourself and just explain it a little more? I really love your point. Sridhar? Okay, it's fine. So Sridhar said they're happy for doing their work, right? They're happy with the work they are doing. So basically, we see they might not be desiring anything extra in there, right? To help someone with your idea or with your solution, you first need to know if they actually need help or not, right? So a lot of time, your customer segment wouldn't be knowing if they actually need a new product. For example, in old times, we were using the horse carts, right? पहले घोड़ा गाड़ी होती थी. तो जब घोड़ा गाड़ी होती थी तब किसी ने सोचा था कि हाँ कार भी हो सकती है. तब लोगों को लगता था कि हाँ हमें कार की जरूरत है, नहीं, राइट? बट जब गाड़ी आई तब लोगों ने कार खरीदनी स्टार्ट करी. तो a lot of time your customer segment wouldn't be knowing that they need something better. They need something fast to ride on, right? So okay, right now you guys have your points. I want you to keep it that way, and at the end of this workshop, I'm gonna ask you to do this activity again, and we're gonna compare things, right? So first we start with the problem analysis. Whenever we start a venture, or whenever we start a company or something like that, we start with a problem. We come across a problem that we want to tackle, and then we want to make a business out of it, right? So let's talk about problem analysis. So it's why and how analysis are very simple tools by which you can reach to a root cause of a problem, right? For example, in this case, we can say that this is our problem statement. Let's assume that you are a district magistrate or something in a city, and this is the problem. A surge is seen in the number of health workers getting sick. So you see these two beautiful people we have here. So there are more people like them in a specific city, and they're getting sick a lot, right? So as a district magistrate, what you do is you try to reach the root cause of the problem, right? Now, when I say district magistrate, a lot of people would be thinking, okay, why do we have to think as a district magistrate? We need to think like an entrepreneur or as an engineer, right? So the thing is, key entrepreneurship is not just about starting a business. It's whole and soul about leadership. So a district magistrate is a leader, so he need to have an entrepreneurial mindset, right? He need to solve a problem. So he's an entrepreneur, we can say. So what he do is he asks his juniors why. Why are these people getting sick? So his juniors tell him that health workers are not getting proper safety gear while cleaning. Okay. Now he's like, okay, but why are they not getting proper safety gears while cleaning? So he go deeper in the problem, and his juniors tell him the import of safety gear is not possible due to COVID. Okay, then he's like, why it is not possible due to COVID? How is COVID affecting it? And he comes to know that containers cannot be airlifted from a specific country from which the gloves were being imported or the safety kits were being imported, right? Now what happens? He is having a list of problems now. First problem is people are getting sick. Second is they're not having safety gear. Third is the import of safety gear is not possible. Fourth is containers cannot be airlifted. So he cannot import the safety gear. So what happens now? He need to choose at which specific level he need to tackle that problem, right? So how do we choose it? We choose it according to the resources we have. So for example, if you don't have a single penny in your pocket, you can still solve a problem, but you might have to start from a very small part of it, right? So you need to select a problem to tackle. So now in this case, we decided, okay, yeah, this is the specific problem I want to tackle, that health workers are not getting proper safety gear while cleaning. Okay. So now when you list out the final problem statement, you list it in this specific format. How might we? So we need to decide from today onwards, whenever you write a problem statement anywhere, right? It is for a project or it is for your own company, for your venture or a product, you need to follow this specific template. You first write how might we, and then you write the pain point you want to tackle. So what was the pain point here? The pain point was how to make it reachable to, how to make safety gear reachable to these people, to the health workers, right? So we write it like, how might we make safety gear accessible to the health workers, right? So this is our final problem statement. Anyone is having any doubt till here? Anyone having any questions? Any concerns? Anything you couldn't understand? Anything you missed out? No? Okay, let's move forward. I just want to tell, if you guys are feeling shy or anything like that while asking questions or something, guys, believe me, you don't have to feel shy or anything. I was in the same college as yours a few years back, so there is no difference between you and me. You don't even have to call me sir. You can take my name, and you can just feel free and feel comfortable to ask questions, right? Okay, let's move forward. So now we have our main problem statement, but now we need a plan. We need to know how can we solve that specific problem, and that's where how analysis come in, right? You have a specific problem statement, which is how might we make safety gear accessible to health workers. Now you ask how can we do it? By manufacturing it in India, right? Because we cannot import it, so we start to manufacture it in India. Now the next question arises: how might we manufacture safety gear in India, right? To answer this, we ask it. So the answer is by setting up a manufacturing unit, right? And then you again ask how. So what I'm trying to explain here is, the more you ask how, the deeper you get into your problem statement. So you know what specific problem you need to tackle, right? So for example, if you want to set up a manufacturing unit in India, the first thing you need to do is investment. So if you see the bottom of the line, Your problem statement is how might we collect investment for a manufacturing unit, right? So a lot of times what happens when we start working on a solution, we start directly from the first level. We start to think, okay, yeah, let's manufacture it. But no, you don't have to start it from there. You have to first invent the device, then you need to collect some funding, then you need to set up a manufacturing unit. So basically the series of events that is going to happen, how do you identify them? You identify them with a how analysis, right? So now you know how you write a problem definition. Now you know how you start thinking about the solution. Now we will learn how to actually design a solution, right? Okay, anyone is having any doubt till here? Okay, then let's move forward. So talking about the solution, every solution has three major components, right? First is desirability, feasibility, and viability. So talking about the desirability, we are talking about desirability first because that's where we start. So when you start making a product, right? How you think is, okay, would it be something that someone will need? For example, mobile phones, right? When someone would have invented mobile phone, he would have thought, okay, yeah, is there something required? Because you see, human is a social animal. We need to stay connected with each other, right? So everyone needs a mobile phone to stay connected with people across the globe, right? So this is something which is desired. So your product has to be something which your customer segment would be willing to need. For example, in this case, our customer segment is the health workers, right? So would they be desiring to wear a safety gear, right? When COVID hit, a lot of us we didn't want to wear the mask, although it was something which was compulsion. But did we actually wanted to wear the mask? No, right? So before COVID, we were not wearing the mask because it is something which is not desired. Until and unless there is someone with a health condition, you wouldn't be desiring to do that, right? So your product or the mask market, we can say, before COVID, it was very low because desirability was less, right? So in order for your product to make any profit, it has to be something which is desired by the your customer segment, right? Next thing comes is feasibility. Now feasibility is more about, is it possible to make, right? Can you make it in big quantity? For example, there can be a lot of products which are desired but which are not feasible. For example, all of us, we have thought at some point in life that I want to go back in time, I want to study better so I could have gotten into IIT or something like that, right? We all have regrets that we have missed out something in our past. So we all want time machine, but can we make time machine? No, because we don't have specific technology. So it doesn't matter how desiring it is for your customer segment. If you cannot make it, it is waste, right? So your product has to be feasible. Your product has to be something which you can make. You cannot go to an investor and you can just ask a funding for and just say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make a time machine, so I need $1 million. He's not gonna give it to you because he knows that it's not possible. The technology is not there, right? And the last part is viability. So what basically viability is that your product has to make some profit, right? You cannot just make a product and expect your investor to invest into it and not give a return, right? If you're investing into something, if you're doing some R&D, it has to make profit. Also, another example can be if you're making a product for, let's say, 50 rupees, you cannot sell it in 40 rupees, right? Because or also you cannot make a safety kit which is worth 1,000 rupees because it's not viable. It's not possible to make a profit. So these are three major components, and your solution, it has to be somewhere here to be successful, right? The solution has to be something that your user wants to use. It has to be something that is possible to make in big quantity, and it has to be something that actually makes profit, right? Now, I'm not saying that on the first day of your startup, your product is gonna be in the center of this Venn diagram. It's gonna be here, right? It is possible that you might be starting, let's say, um, give me a second. So yeah, it can be possible. It can be possible that desirability, feasibility, and viability. It can be possible that you're starting somewhere here, right? That your product, it is making profit, and it is also possible to make, but people are not using it in bulk right now. For example, when we shift the market to a new technology, it is mostly this kind of case that a product is feasible and it's viable, but you're trying to drag the market towards center, right? So you basically start somewhere here in one of these section, and you try to move your product in the center, right, somewhere here. So maybe initially your product is desirable and feasible, but it's not making profit. So over the time, for example, Coca-Cola didn't make a single penny in first 10 years, right? So Coca-Cola wasn't something which is desired by which was making profit, but people really loved it. It was feasible to make, but initially it was not making profit. When they created a market, they increased the price, and then when they started making, profits. Then after that, feasibility and viability. Your venture could start somewhere between feasibility and viability. For example, the Uber didn't make a single penny in first 3 years. They were not able to achieve a minimum viable market. They started with the cabs which are like already on the road, and they were not making enough customers to make a profit. So they were viable, they were feasible. The concept was viable and feasible, but it took some time for people to adapt to Uber or Ola or online cab services, because people were not trusting the online market at that time. Right. So your solution would be starting at one of the intersections, and it will be reaching in the center. So now you guys know how you have to think of a solution, right? You start with desirability, and then you think about feasibility and viability, right? So now what we are going to do is we're going to do that same activity again. And now I want you to utilize the concept that we have learned. You need to do the why analysis to your problem, and then you also need to think of the solution using this Venn diagram. So I'm just putting up the screen for a moment in case you guys want to take a screenshot or something like that. Feel free to take. So I'm gonna wait for like 5-10 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna put up that image again, and now I want you to do the same analysis but with the new tools that you have learned, right? And you guys have 10 minutes for this activity. So at 10:20, we are gonna again, I'm gonna ask a few of you people to share what you guys have written, right? I hope all of you know what we are doing here. So I will just repeat again. So you need to utilize the tools that we just learned, the why analysis, the how analysis, and you need to come up with a specific problem statement in how might we format. So your problem statement should be how might we enable XYZ, whatever pain point you want to tackle, right? So your problem statement should start with how might we, right? And while think of the solution, you need to think about the three aspects that we just learned. Your solution should be desirable, it should be feasible, and it should be viable, right? Desirability means your customer segment should be willing to use that solution. Feasible means it is possible to make it, manufacture it, and viable means your business model. It should be you know viable to make it. You should be able to make profit out of that specific product or that specific service you are planning on giving. And you need to write three different points out of it, right? The pain points you can skip because we did the pain points the last time, but the problem statement and the solution, that is something which I would be interested in after a few minutes. Is there anyone who has finished already? If someone has finished, you can post your solution in the chat, or you can also like just unmute yourself and feel free to speak.
Hi, hello.
Yes, Swapnil.
Yeah. So the problem statement is how do they manage the garbage? And the pain point is that when you see in the cities, the garbage is not properly managed or it is not in the proper way. Sometimes the storage tank is get full and the municipal corporations don't make it empty and don't. So the solution is we can create a IoT linked solution. With
Mm-hmm.
that, we can sense with the help of the satellite, we can sense with the sensor technology, we can analyze the garbage storage points in the city levels, and we can use the sensor to these storage tanks, and we can send this data to the corporation that this in this area the storage is full and you just go and collect it. And the business model is that we can collect the plastic from it and we can use it to create the material which can be used to the road and we can sell it to them. Uh, we, Now the research has developed that from the plastic we can
Mm-hmm.
create the material which can be used to the to create the roads. So we can sell it as a
Right.
raw material to this to the factories, and whatever the revenue is generated, we can uh, give it to the municipal corporation, and as a business owner, you can take some profit from it.
Right. So really, really awesome solution. I was actually going to ask if someone is having IoT solution, and the first one was from IoT itself. So I really appreciate it. So basically, your problem statement: how might we be able to manage how might we enable waste management more effectively, right? And your solution, which I have got, is like we can have multiple points in a city, and there are going to be multiple nodes, right? In IoT, we are going to call it nodes, which will be telling us that the specific garbage bin is full. So there is no littering of garbage on the roads, right? And then through the satellite technology, all of these nodes will be connected to a central point. And from that central point, we'll be sending the data to the municipal corporation, converting it to a useful information for them, through which they will be able to identify in which area the garbage are full, right? The bins are full, and they need to send someone to clean it up, right?
Yes, yes, you are very
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, I really loved the fact that he also came with a business model, not just a solution, in a very short time. So I really appreciate it. Okay, Pranay, I see you have posted a solution. Do you want to share it? Pranay Gadge? Okay, I'm going to share it
Yes,
for you.
Adarsh. My idea, my idea is about we will develop a application for the waste collection indexing
Mhm.
in a city or any urban area. There are some regions, and everyone has a smartphones now. Now
Right.
we can develop an application which collect the data regarding the waste they have in their
Mhm.
area. If there is a, dustbin and is in someone in that area have reported the issue of regarding overflowing or any they have that much amount of garbage or anything, that the data is
Mhm.
collected, uploaded on the cloud by application, by through the application, and then it will be the shared with the
Mhm.
municipal corporation, and they will assign the workers to collect the data in that region. By assigning collecting that data, we can manage the vehicles. We can avoid the unwanted movement of the vehicle in where the garbage is not that much, or we can assign that vehicle to the where the garbage is very which they in a large amount, so we can collect it proper way. Also by this we can
Mhm.
uh, just give the authority to the peoples to take initiative uh, to the part of the this. Also we can get the waste management through the application also. That's
Right, right, Pranay. So, I have a question for you, Pranay. So, what do you think? Who is your customer segment in this
yes.
case?
uh,
Who?
in this segment the customers, the the community itself.
Okay, so your solution. Who do you think is gonna be the direct user of it? So you said like you will be sending data to municipal corporation, right? So basically, municipal corporation
Yes,
is going
yes,
to use a specific portal or something, right? So
Shani.
in this case, municipal corporation
Ye-
is your customer segment, right? So what I liked about your
Customer,
solution
yes,
is when you
yes,
were, yeah. So when you were talking about your customer segment and providing them with a dashboard, so municipal party corporation, they will be, willing to use that specific dashboard or specific solution that you will be providing, right? So here the desirability factor, it is very high.
yes,
Okay. Now when we think from the feasibility perspective,
yes,
right? Now what we are trying to do here is we are trying to break your solution into different parts in order to test how effective it is gonna be, right? Also, when Swapnil said that we can put smart dustbins in there. So if we propose that idea to municipal corporation, okay, yeah, we are gonna put smart dustbins over there. So they will be willing to put it, right? Because it is going to make their life easier. They don't have to do the schedule check. They will be knowing when exactly where to go, right? So desirability factor, it is high. Now, when we think about feasibility factor, right? So is it possible to make a dustbin that can tell how much garbage is inside there? It is, right? Is it possible to send the data to the server through the satellite? It is. Like you guys are working with the LoRa communication protocol, which has very high range. I think it ranges up to 10 kilometers, right? The label range for LoRa is 10 kilometers. So if you put a satellite 10 kilometer above the city, or let's say we don't have to put 10 kilometer above, we can just put 5 kilometer above the city, right? So it can actually cover the whole city, right? Because it's a line of sight communication. As the altitude rises, the disturbance is low, right? So we can actually do that. It is feasible, right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Swapnil,
Yes.
am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are right.
Exactly. Right. So we can do that. So feasibility factor is solved. Now talking about the viability factor, do you think government is having enough money to because if you think of it, how much it can cost, 1 CR or 2 CR? Do you think a municipality budget is enough? Of course it is, because we all are paying a lot of taxes, and we all are helping the government to have a lot of prices. We all know about the petrol prices. Let's not talk about it. So yeah, it is viable, right? We can also make profit out of it. So basically, this solution is approved. So whenever you think of a
Yeah.
solution next time, dissect it into these three parts. Does my customer wants to use it? Ask yourself this question. Does my customer wants to use it? Yes, they want to use it. Is it possible to make? Yes, it is possible to make. And can I make a profit out of it? Does my customer have enough money to pay for that specific solution? It can be no, right? But it's not viable, because if your single customer doesn't have much money, maybe you have big customer segment, you make it in bulk, or you come up with very innovative ideas so you can help people to use it, right? You can make it viable. So as I told, don't have to start from the center. We start from one of the cross sections, and we move our solution to the center, right? If your solution is on the center, it's fine. But if it is not, you can still move it. There's still a scope, right? You don't have to throw your solution into into the garbage, right? So what I want you guys to observe right now is, when we had these tools, when we had these bio analysis, when we had these solution, the criteria to evaluate a solution. When we didn't had these, the first time we did this activity, I want you to read that, and the second time when we did it, I want you to read that. Not right now, a bit later. I want you to observe the difference that comes in. Right? So not just as an entrepreneur, if in future you join a company, you need to solve industrial problems. Then also these tools, they are going to help you, right? So, yeah. Also about IoT in detail, like I know you would be having a lot of great ideas, but a lot of times you don't know how to do it, how to make that specific thing, right? So we are like planning a workshop for you guys. We are still in touch with Mirza sir and Prasad sir. So in that workshop, we will like talking a lot about all these tools. We'll be giving a lot more tools like this in that specific workshop about IoT and entrepreneurship, through which you can actually develop a solution, because we want you to from your project mindset. When we are in college, we are thinking about projects, we are thinking about doing just the bare minimum. But when you get in the industry, the thing is, people are not going to pay you for the bare minimum, right? They're not going to pay you for something which is not reliable. So you need to learn how to convert your project into a product. Not just that, how to convert a concept into a product, right? How to take your IoT venture, or how to take a product, a concept, to the customer. So we are gonna cover up that journey in the two-day workshop, right? So yeah, I guess that was all from my side. And if you guys have any questions about anything, this is the right time. Also, Vivek will be posting a link in the chat box. If you guys, it's just a simple, a few questions. It's gonna take maybe a minute or something. For for the feedback of this specific section. So next time we have a session like this, I should know what you were expecting, and just to make it better. So like, please fill that feedback form, so I know that I messed up and this thing that you did, right. Thank you again for listening to the presentation. That was all.
Hello everyone, Neeraj Patil this side. So the chat is open for the question and answer Q&As. So hopefully anyone who has question can ask directly into chat or can unmute and ask. Uh, I would take time to take the vote of thanks from my side. So As a member of Space Club, it was a great opportunity that we got to collaborate with Raha and the platform that it provides to connect with different peoples. And also our speaker Adarsh Kumar, the alumni from 2019, we got to know different skills. Also, primarily the IoT, that growing market in India. Also, the entrepreneurship skills that we required to come up with the projects or to commercialize a project. And also the great was thing was we have seen the different presentation skills which we could acquire, and communication. And also we have got the mindset or thinking method that we require to come up with a commercialized project, and which would be beneficial for us. And also I would like to congratulate on a great venture that he had from RIT to Boston, and still on working on his venture. So thank you everyone. That's all from my side.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions, anything I can help you with, feel free. If you guys don't want to, like, converse in English and languages, I understand English, Hindi, Marathi. Although my Marathi is not super fluent, I did Marathi while I was at IIT. So I cannot promise the best Marathi from my side, but yeah, if you guys want to speak Marathi, I can try it with you. Right? So, thank you, Neeraj. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mirza sir, Prasad sir, for giving me this opportunity. It was super nice. I mean, not everyone was giving the ideas. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people giving really great ideas in the chat, which I feel can be something really beautiful if we work together over that. So, I'm gonna post my email ID in the chat. You guys are welcome to reach out to me if you need any mentorship for your venture or for your project or anything. Uh, I'll be really happy to help.
Okay, thank you, Adarsh, and thank you all for joining. I have just one announcement. Rather, we are going to appreciate. Uh, Actually, all of you know that one of our team, who is mentored by Professor M.V. Pisar, okay, Healthy Wings. So they are manufacturing different types of cookies, taking care of the health. So in future, maybe next or after that, we will arrange the presentation of that team. Thank you very much for joining.